Good afternoon. This is Universal News Media. Today is June 13th, 2018. The images we will be viewing just came in today from the Federal Aviation Weather Cams in Alaska. And also we're going to be viewing some viewer-submitted photos. So I want to thank everybody for sending your pictures in. And also something interesting happened this morning very early, between 2 a.m. and 2:10 a.m. Most of the pictures were removed from the east-facing weather cams in Alaska. Our first video comes from the northeast-facing weather cam in Bradley Lake. The black dot in front of the sun is reflecting upon the water. This reflection can be seen with the naked eye, proving that the black dot is a piece of equipment and not a camera or lighting issue. The east-facing weather cam in Chalkyitsik shows the sun flashing for 3 hours before finally rising. After it does rise, the pink craft is visible, marked with an arrow. Next, a black beam is emitted in preparation for an eclipse or a near eclipse. The oddly shaped bright pink reflection of the craft swings into view from the lower right corner of the screen. Unfortunately, clouds moved in and obscured the viewing of this eclipse, but we'll see another one in a minute. The north-facing weather cam in this same town captured the same thing. On the right, we see the reflection of the craft that we saw in the previous video. But we don't see the craft, but we see the reflection that it creates. After the celestial object has passed in front of the sun, contrast brings out the faint trace outline of the object. It is very well hidden in the atmospheric chemicals, so you have to look closely to see it. In Shavak, the north-facing weather cam shows the sun flashing for about 4 hours before rising. The reason the sun looks so wide is because a controllable but small light source located many miles away from Earth's surface is capable of emitting an enormous amount of glare in order to prevent viewing of these objects. Once the dome-shaped glare moves westward, a planet then emerges from the glare into view. And it's pretty tough to see, but some contrast brings it out better. The northeast-facing weather cam in Cooper Landing shows the morning sky being chemtrailed after 3 a.m. As the morning goes on, we see the artificial light source, which shows up as a black dot whenever an eclipse or a near eclipse is in effect. We see the oddly shaped bright pink reflections of some equipment that works with NASA's artificial light system during these eclipses. The reflection takes on the shape of a Mexican hat, and a reflection of the eclipsing planet is marked with an arrow. The eclipsing planet is nearly invisible in the atmospheric chemicals, but some contrast helps to see it better. This close-up with contrast shows the planet much better. The bright pink reflection always tells us exactly where the eclipsing planet is, because if you draw a line from the pink reflection, then through the black dot, the eclipsing planet always falls in the middle of that line. I've never seen an exception to this. In Cordova, the southwest-facing weather cam shows the morning coming along. It is important to note that there are no clouds in the sky. Remember, it's a cloudless morning here in Cordova. Suddenly, at 6:03 a.m., the sky and landscape become very dark. The shadows that were being cast on the ground by the sun suddenly disappear. We'll run through this again, and this time watch the ground. Watch the shadows on the ground at the bottom of the screen. Trees are casting shadows on the ground. Suddenly, at 6:03, the shadows disappear as the sky and landscape become as dark as early nighttime. 10 minutes later, everything is bright again. The only thing that can cause this sudden darkness and sudden brightness is an eclipse. In Delta Junction, we see the same bright pink reflections that we always see during an eclipse or a near eclipse. Next, we see the craft that creates the odd-shaped pink reflection. Remember that the odd-shaped reflection tells us exactly where the eclipsing planet is, because if you draw a line from the pink reflection through the black dot, the planet always falls on that line. The eclipsing planet is very difficult to see here without some contrast added. Here are some close-up images which really show the enormous size of this object when you compare it to the mountains below. I mean, look how large this is. In Eagle, Alaska, the northeast-facing weather cam shows an enormous object that is going to eclipse the sun. It is important to see that this object is reacting to the sun's light. Notice how the object becomes lit up by the sun as the sun gets close. A lens flare cannot react to sunlight like this. It is physically and scientifically impossible for a lens flare to become partially or completely illuminated by the object causing the sun or the lens flare. However, this object is reacting to the sun, and it's becoming partially illuminated by the sun. During this 3-hour time-lapse video, the foreign object does not move at all. It's completely stationary. This is probably one of NASA's lenses that they have put in a geosynchronous orbit. The YouTube channel Jeff P. explains these lenses in great detail. He even has the NASA patent, the drawings, the diagram. So to learn more about these lenses, visit Jeff P. In Golovin, we see a red planet. Very, very faint in the atmospheric chemicals, but it is there. In Bradley Lake, the south-facing weather cam showed a very strange round shadow that stayed in the same corner of the screen for hours. Watch the lower right corner of the screen as we go through this time-lapse video. And we know it's not a smudge on the camera lens because the shadow actually moves around, and for a few frames it even disappears. If anyone has any clues as to what this could possibly be, please leave your comment below, because I have no idea what this could be. It's a round shadow, and it stays in the same corner of the screen for hours, but yet it moves around a little bit. It's very strange. And then the same thing showed up on the southwest camera in that same area, but it was only visible for one frame. But look, it's the same shape and the same size as the one we just saw in the previous time-lapse video. Every day, people ask me how they can see these celestial objects with their own phones, their own cameras. Actually, video does the best job. Jeffrey McGaya bought himself an outdoor security camera, and he pointed it at the sky. He has some amazing footage of what shows up on his security camera located in eastern Tennessee. So Jeffrey, thank you for letting me use your screenshots from your YouTube channel so that I can show people how they can get their own pictures of this system. On June 3rd, Jeffrey's security camera captured a very lengthy solar eclipse. Look how dark it is for early afternoon in Tennessee. Now Jeffrey's footage is actually video, and I'm just showing a few screenshots here, just so you get the essence of what he captured on his video. And note also that a camera 100 miles away from Jeffrey's camera would probably not see this, or it would see something totally different. Because remember, last August 21st in 2017, the solar eclipse path of totality was only 70 miles wide. Most of the world could not see it, except through TV or internet. So anyone interested in capturing images of this system can set up their own outdoor security camera. I know that Walmart sells these, probably a lot of other places, Amazon. And then you can browse through your video footage and put anything interesting on your YouTube channel to share like Jeffrey does. A link to Jeffrey's channel is below in the description box. Thank you everyone who sent in photos and videos to share. Some of these were really amazing. I mean, incredible. I really enjoy going through these pictures, and I'm sure you will too. So the rest of the video today is your pictures. So thank you for watching.
The residents of the city of Yorkshire in England heard massively loud booms in the sky, so loud that they thought it was a nuclear bomb going off, or even the Third World War beginning. Hello everyone, my name is JT and I am here at X-Science today. We are bringing you one of what I think is the biggest cover-up story about aliens and UFOs in 2016. I'm not going to waste any of your time anymore, so I will go straight into the story. So like I said in the beginning of this video, the citizens in the city of Yorkshire on the day of May 3rd, 2016 experienced indescribably loud explosion in the sky that actually caused vibration in the ground beneath them. This is in fact a public news story. Many news outlets talk about it, including big ones like BBC News and The Telegraph. In fact, if you now Google Yorkshire May 3rd, 2016, you can still find the news again. According to these and other official sources, the explosions were sonic booms caused by the Quick Reaction Alert Typhoons, or RAF for short. These RAFs took off from RAF Koningslei in Lancashire in emergency to identify and escort the civilian flight AF-1558, flying from Paris to Newcastle. Because the flight has become irresponsive, RAF are authorized to break sound barrier on land in cases of emergency, and in this case, the two RAF did succeed in assisting AF-1558 to land safely, but at the same time, they left houses and car alerts going off and scared the living hell out residents in the nearby area. So that's the story. It's pretty reasonable. Authorities took off for an emergency and successfully avoided a disaster. Nonetheless, I still feel like there's something fishy about this, and a cover-up is likely. I'm not the only one who thinks so. According to some sources who was out in the oceans or near the shore of the town, and also some leaked Russian sources, that there is a confidential report circulating the Russian Ministry of Defense, saying that the RAF scrambled not because of the civilian flight from Paris to Newcastle, but because radar detected an unidentified object out in the ocean. The jet got authorized to scramble because the unidentified object could very well be a public threat, such as a bomb, and it was crucial that someone check on this subject. The strange thing is yet to come, because there are sources saying that this object, whatever it is, came out of the ocean. It would still be understandable because it could be a missile from a submarine, but there are not many chances that the British National Security cannot detect a submarine that close to the shore. Also, I'm going to show you some radar images here. You can see that these are the two RAF circling around this object, whatever it may be. This is where it gets even weirder. 15 minutes after the occurrence of this event, the British government issued a Defense Advisory Note, or a DEA for short. The basic point of this DEA note is that it is illegal for any news outlets to report or release any facts and information about what had happened. But 7 hours later, we saw every news channel all over the internet steaming with reports on how the two ARF shook Yorkshire, scaring the living hell out of its citizens, and the reason is because of AF-1558. Apart from these rumors leaking from Russia, there was also information reported by people who said they were at or near the scene at the time. For example, a fisherman who was out in his boat about half a mile away from the spot where the two RAF circled, said that they were confronting something that rose out from the ocean. He said he was certain that whatever these two jets were circling was definitely not a civilian airplane, and it definitely rise from the ocean. The object was circular in shape and was moving quite fast before it vanished. So there you have it, government covering things up and live sources saying completely different things. The perfect formula for a sighting of UFO. So some people online said that this event and the object rising out of the ocean must have something to do with the Baltic Sea. The Baltic Sea's anomaly is quite well known among people in the field of ufology like me and probably many of you guys. But for your information, I'll go quickly through it. In short, there is a massive circular object which is 60 meters in diameter found on the ocean floor in the northern part of the Baltic Sea. The object was discovered by sonar images taken by Peter Lindbergh, Dennis Ellsberg, and the Swedish Ocean X diving team while treasure hunting on the floor of the sea in June 2011. The team suggested that the object seems to not have a natural origin, and many people have speculated it to be a sunken UFO, which makes sense because why on earth would there be one single circle object in the middle of the ocean? If it were a geological phenomenon, there cannot be just one, can it? Or anyhow, if you want to know more about Baltic Sea anomaly, and I'm sure you do, you can head over to their channel as Ocean X. They also have a lot of videos about the awesome expedition under the sea. It's worth watching. Anyway, back to our assumed UFOs. I think it's reasonable to believe that there are more of them under the ocean. Other than the Yorkshire event and the Baltic Sea anomaly, there have been other reports of flying discs flying out of the ocean as well. I don't know if you remember, but in one of our previous videos, the one about Wixland anomaly in the Antarctica, we talk about something similar as well. Basically, the Wixland anomaly is an area in Antarctica where gravitational forces is exceptionally strong, and people expect that there is something very big and dense hidden under this ice cap. Because of many reasons, there is a theory about the hidden objects is of extraterrestrial origins, and I'm not talking about a meteor. One of those reasons is Admiral Byrd's Navy expedition to Antarctica, during which he reported flying saucers bursting out of the icy water on Antarctica. There have also been numerous sightings of UFOs flying into the ocean, as well as lying under the water captured by pilots who were flying overhead. So I think it is not sci-fi at all to believe that something strange is going on under the water. For your information, 95% of the ocean is uncharted. Therefore, we simply cannot reject the possibility that there is another intelligent, or should I say civilized, or even technological advanced species sharing our planet, and they are way ahead of us and too discreet for us to confirm their existence. A few other things that I think are not simply coincidence. Areas of the ocean with rumors about unidentified things are, in many occasions, points of military tensions as well. Take again the Baltic Sea as an illustration, which has been the place of friction between Russia and the United States, along with its allies in NATO. More recently, the Russians under Admiral Grigorovich even fired a missile under the guise of a supposed military test to, guess where? Yes, the Baltic Seas. So yes, it is likely that something strange is going on, and maybe all these military tensions are only the cover for the real tension between the powers of mankind and whatever is lurking under the blue of our planet. Here is something even more interesting. The same RAF sonic boom thing had happened in Yorkshire before. and actually only less than a month earlier. The RAFs were quoted by the British military to intercept yet another private plane that was over Midlands at the time, and coincidentally, this private plane also had problems with its communication. So in a nutshell, the exact same incident happened twice, within less than a month. So either these private airplanes' communication systems are coincidentally very poorly built, or there are something very weird going off on the coast of Yorkshire and Northampton, causing the radio communications of the planes to bug. So again, something is fishy here. So now let me show you this photo. It was taken in Yorkshire on the day of the French airplane incident. Look at it very carefully. There, this circular object kind of half visible. Maybe it's clogged with lights wrapping around it. Maybe it's lightning system or fox fire that was activated to keep it invisible. And the one who took this photo was lucky enough to capture the exact moment before it disappeared. What do you guys think? It is suspicious for sure, even though there has not been more sonic booms and airplane communication failure afterwards. I think it is only a matter of time before a similar series of events happens. The thing is, we don't know. We can never know because we don't have the authority and the inside sources. All we can do is base our belief on the leaks that we are lucky enough to have and the sign that is obvious to everyone. But let me tell you, all these signs alone and the fact that the leaks are always different from the public sources already point to the fact that something exists. Not out there, but here, right here on Earth, right under the blue ocean that we have all been to, but 90% of which none of us has ever had any footage on. There is just no convincing reason, at least to me, to not believe in all of these possibilities. They are just obvious. You only need common sense. 4 billion years of life can't possibly produce only one intelligent species. 13 billion years of the universe and its endless spans across space can't possibly produce only one planet with life. That's it for today, guys. I hope these pieces of information were interesting enough to you guys. If so, it would be awesome if you guys could like the video and subscribe to our channel because new updates are always on the way. Again, thank you guys for your support. It's given us a lot of motivation to continue our research in the field to provide you guys with the hottest information that we have. This is X Science and I am JT, signing out.